Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we're answering your YouTube questions. And that's my brother D, by the way.
Hey, how's it going? We're going to answer your questions today. If you're joining us live, you've got a link in the description below. You can click on the link, drop your question in that form.
And if you're joining us on the replay, we have timestamps down at the bottom of the screen that you can jump to different parts, and we also have links down in the description as well. So the first question here,
real quick before we get into it, are we going to do channel reviews
Doesn't
today?
matter for the replay. So
there you go.
It's all his. The question here is, they upload one time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel is managing money with a biblical worldview. And the question is, been uploading 2 to 3 times a week, long form only, since starting the channel 8 months ago. Due to life stuff, I'm going to need to pull back for a time to do 1 video per week. How bad will this hurt? I'm a little over half of my watch time hours, and the deadline, December, is looming. At 815 subs, trying to balance life with YouTube as well. Thank you. So when you change your upload schedule, sometimes it actually can help a channel. So, you know, sometimes uploading more is the right thing. Sometimes slowing things down is the right thing. So when it comes to the videos that you're publishing, if you can't do it, you can't do it, right? So if you're like, hey, I can't do it and I can't find a way, then in that case, you know, you don't really have a choice when it comes to that. But you know, one thing that can be advantageous is, since you are coming up on this life stuff that you're going to be pulling back for, if you were publishing 2 to 3 times a week, if possible, before you take that break, you might want to just have another week or 2 of doing that and then scale back to publishing 1 video a week. And then you've got some videos in the can to where you don't have that pressure. And then if you do decide to upload any extra content during that time that you can, but just, you know, just try as hard as you can to make the videos good. And when you make the videos good, you can actually upload less and then get more out of each upload, right? So sometimes people just stay on the grind trying to upload all the time, and because of that, the content itself is, you know, it suffers. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes the content itself suffers. And when you do give yourself, you know, more time to work on that 1 video that you're going to be publishing for the week, you know, sometimes you can make that video get more views than the total of the views that you're getting from all the videos that you're publishing that week. So keep that in mind. But in terms of will it hurt? Not necessarily, because, you know, people are still interacting with the content. You know, you do have an archive. So if you publish that 1 video per week, then you're still giving yourself the opportunity to get in front of new viewers, to serve the people that are already engaged in what it is that you're doing and all that. So you're not completely abandoning them. You are simply making it, you know, to where you're just giving them less for a temporary period of time. So yeah, it's not a big deal. I wouldn't worry about it, especially, you know, because right now you're trying to get in the partner program, so that extra grind would be great for watch time and all that stuff. But you know, it's not necessarily something that you should be concerned about, especially if it's out of your control.
You have a couple of super chats I think you missed from before.
Oh, okay, yep. When we were like way off the rails there. iPhone Chris, thanks for the super chat, dude. Super appreciate it. Tan going in the kitchen says, my name is Elizabeth. A little notch about the last stream. It is great to meet you. What did I miss there?
Because we would just call her Tan going in the kitchen. So she's just letting us know her name is Elizabeth.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Got it.
Next.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, Derek Hunt Artist says, can you speak about the pros versus cons of vertical streaming? So I would say when it comes to vertical streaming, it's pretty much, you know, all pros in terms of, you know, if you have trouble getting people to click on your landscape live streams, then it's a great way to just show up in people's feed and see how good you are at keeping people engaged there, versus having to also have like a really good title for it, versus also having to have like a good thumbnail that they can identify and all that, you know, all the stuff that goes along with that. So there's that advantage when you're streaming in terms of getting people in there, and then that can help you just kind of practice like, hey, when I do these things in the stream, seems like people are sticking around for a little bit longer than when I do these things in the stream. Downside is that, you know, when it comes to shorts, because they do take kind of a shotgun approach when it comes to shorts. So because of that, even though the people that are interacting with the content are most likely going to be a pretty good fit for, you know, for the content, there's also going to be a lot of people that probably aren't. So because of that, you might see the numbers just kind of going, you know, kind of all over the place. So, you know, So just keep that in mind. But one thing with the vertical live streams, though, is I know some vertical live streams can really stack views up because of the whole just showing up in people's feed thing. So I would use that as an opportunity in terms of a pro. I would use that as an opportunity to really kind of fine tune what it is that you're saying or showing or talking about or reacting to or whatever it is that you're doing during your stream. I would just use that as an opportunity to just kind of test different things against a group of people that are hanging out in there and just, play with it and seeing your numbers, rise and fall based on what it is that you do. But in terms of cons, really, outside of being in front of some people that don't care, anybody that subscribes from your vertical live stream, you might want to mention from time to time, like, hey, go check out my channel. If you have long form content, like, hey, go check out, the rest of my channel or something like that for the people that are engaged in what it is that you're doing. I wouldn't overdo it, but, just letting them know that, that they can and reminding them to go do that is something that you might want to do so that they can see the other content that you have. But, if they come in and they hang out in the stream for a little bit and they enjoy it, then next time you go live, they might get recommended that stream in their shorts feed. And also, if the content that you are making in that they're responding to well in the shorts feed through your live stream, if they really enjoy that, and then you're doing something similar in terms of still trying to target that same viewer for the long form content, then if they enjoy the vertical stream, you're increasing the likelihood of YouTube recommending the long form content to some of those people as well. So next up on the list, we've got Rachel Smets. What's up, Rachel? Hope you're doing great.
Hey, Rachel.
Rachel wants a question answered. She uploads one time per week or more, does educational content. The question is, two small questions. Last time you said that I should choose a direction, and I just want the views, but not the gossip, and I do want to educate. Now, this one person gives me great views, but others less. What next? Not understanding the question. Okay, so last time you said that I should choose a direction and I just want the views, but not gossip, and I do want to educate. Now, this one person gives me great views, but others less. What next? Yeah, let me look at your channel real quick. That's going to be the easier way. Do you understand what she's saying there?
No, I don't understand.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm just kind of pulling this up and just taking a quick look at what it is that you're doing.
Are you pulling them up on the... Hey, David, how you doing?
Okay, so it looks like you have... hey, David, what's up, dude? So it looks like you have Megan here. You have Jeff Bezos' wife here. It looks like another... I think that might be Megan again, and then Megan down here. So yeah, and another Megan here. So I'm guessing what you're saying here is that when you do her, then people respond to it, but when you do other things, they do not. Yeah, that kind of thing can happen, like especially if you have popular videos to where you bring in people that are interested in her. So the move there is to make sure that when you are publishing content that you're thinking about, in this particular case, that you're thinking about, and I think you're doing this already, but you're like, okay, for the people that might be interested in her, as long as you're wanting to talk about, her and other people that are, that people who are into her would also like to see content about, then just trying to build that bridge in terms of, the people that are into her, what else are they into, right? And then trying to build around that would be the move there. And sometimes also just keep in mind, like this sort of thing that you're dealing with right now is relatively normal in terms of, you have something that's working great and then the other things aren't really comparing to it. So what you can do with that is you can say, okay, it seems like every time I publish a video where she's involved that people do respond well to it. So if that's the case, then you just, and it looks like you're doing this already, then as you are publishing content, deciding exactly what videos to publish, you're like, okay, I'm going to insert her here, 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 and here. And then in between her, I'm going to publish, videos on these other people. And then you say here, that it's more gossip instead of confident communication. Oh, based on your value proposition. And then why she struggles with her fake identity. Fake confidence destroyed her likability. Nice. Yeah, I mean, you're getting views on these, right? 52,000 views here. Like anytime you talk about her and what she's doing, it looks like people are responding to her.
Are you going to show them? I can't speak.
Yeah, there's another part of this question here, so I'm gonna go to that one too, real quick. And then it says, when a brand asks me for a 1-minute talk inside my video, or basically an ad read, says, I've read about paid usage rights and I'm confused what to be aware of before agreeing. Okay, so when it comes to working with brands, first off, just be careful. Like a minute's a really long time when it comes to videos. Like try to cut it down to 30 seconds if you can. Sometimes you got to do, a minute, but, keep in mind, depending on where it is that you talk about that in your video, that, it can cost you like the long-term performance of a video if you talk about a brand for too long, and they don't care.
Yeah.
What they care about is, hey, I just want you to bring attention to my stuff, and they don't necessarily care about like, hey, this video is probably not going to do that great. So I worked, still kind of am, with somebody, and they wanted like a whole dedicated video in a certain way. They wanted me to add things to the titles and all that stuff. And in the contract, I was like, nope, not doing this, not doing this, not doing this. And then as I was publishing it, they were like, hey, could you do it? And I was like, if you want me to, but the video is not going to perform well if I do this. And they're like, that's fine. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. It's perfectly fine. And I did. And that video is like one of the worst videos on my second worst video on my channel that I published within the last like probably 3 years.
The thing about brands, and I'm sure you can agree with this, and anyone in here who's worked with brands and had this happen, they make products, they sell services. They're reaching out to you, the creator, to have access to your audience.
Right.
You, the creator, you know how to...
You're the front line.
You're the front line. You know how to communicate to your audience. As soon as they try to get in the way of you communicating to your audience, it starts breaking down.
Right. It just becomes not as effective for them. I mean, that's their choice, and it's your choice too.
Right.
So, like, you know, if you're trying to do something, you know, of value in a video, and you're like, yeah, this video, like, you know, like it's really important to me that this does well, then make sure that you control that particular thing in terms of the amount of time, because that one minute's a really long time, especially if it's like a direct ad read, where it's like, oh, now time for our sponsor. And then you talk about whatever that thing is for a minute. Like, you know already how hard it is just to get people past that first 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're going to watch audience retention go like this.
Right.
Just go
so you
down.
have to be careful of that. But in terms of about the paid usage rights, so what you want to be aware of when you are agreeing to that is, one, you just got to know what your line is, because everybody's different when it comes to this. Some people are like, you know what, you can use my, you know, stuff, whatever. Like, it's fine. If I make this for you, then you can use it, you know, indefinitely. It's perfectly fine. And they'll charge accordingly for that. Other times it's like, hey, this is only going to be valid for the term of our contract, and then the price will reflect that. Other times it's like, hey, when it comes to this thing, you can use it for the next 30 days, because that's the same amount of time that you're tracking the effectiveness of this particular, you know, relationship. So it really depends on what you work out with that brand. But basically what you're going there when it comes to the paid usage rights is, depending on what it is that they want, you're giving them rights to use, you know, that content in certain ways, depending on their advertising. It can be on their channels, it can be all that stuff.
Right.
And then in other things, it can be that they are asking for permission to use your likeness, and, you know, those sorts of things as well. So because of that, it really is going to come down to exactly what it is that they want.
So
in perpetuity is what you are wanting to look out for when it comes to the usage rights. So if it's important to you that you kind of lock down what it is that you're doing, then in that case, just make sure that you don't do it for, you know, an indefinite period of time. Make sure you just put a time allotment on it. But if you're like, hey, it's fine. Like, if it's going to go on their social media accounts and they're going to publish it over there, and it's going to be there indefinitely, don't care, right? Because I'm making the content for them in the first place. Then in that particular case, if you have that point of view, then it's fine. Like, I've got content still on many sponsor channels to where, you know, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm making it literally for you. So yeah, you can just keep it on your channel forever. You know, I don't care, because that also has an advantage to me, because then, you know, if people are interacting with those channels, then they get to meet me over there, which they might not have ran across, you know, my channel. So there's advantages too. There's
advantages to it, and you can also ask more. So if there's like, hey, we just want to sponsor this segment of your video, that's a price. But if they want to use they want to clip your video essentially and use it as an advertisement, put it on their social media, you can negotiate that into your price.
Yes.
That can cost more money. And if they don't want to do that, and maybe you want the exposure, maybe you're a smaller channel and you're like, yeah, okay, well, they don't want to pay more for it, but I want the exposure. That's fine, but make sure you limit that exposure.
Yeah.
Maybe they can do it for 6 months or 12 months, and then they have to stop. That doesn't mean they have to take the videos down. They just can't make more ads. So you need to think about what kind of exposure you want to allow yourself to be part of, and do you want extra compensation for that, etc.
Yeah.
And you want to look out for in perpetuity. You want to look out for things where they just say, we can use your video indefinitely, which is essentially worldwide until the end of time. Edit, chop it up however we want to. You don't get any extra money. Right. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sign anything
there's
like
other
that.
things with that too. It's like, yes, I give you permission to use it on your social media accounts, but not in advertisement. There's also like, yes, you can use it in advertisements, but not your social media accounts. Yes, you can use it in both, right? So there's you know, all of that stuff that you have to work out.
Yeah, and Doug says
there is a lot to consider. Sorry, D, go ahead.
Oh no, like Doug was saying right here. He says, "I'm doing a review for a microphone for a brand just for the free mic and the experience. They have a low ask, and I can generate affiliate sales." Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that too, and I would do that again as well. If you want a product, like you have wiggle, the cards in your hand. Keep in mind, they reached out to you. They reached out to you, and all of them are flexible. And whatever that first price is, it's definitely going to be flexible. Yeah. So, and one thing that you do a lot, which I learned from you, is try to, and it's not always something you can do, but try to work out a longer term deal.
Yeah.
Instead of
works out better for everybody.
Right. If you can, it doesn't always work out that way, but if you can, try to lock down 3 videos instead of 1.
But I recommend if you've never done a brand deal, do one first. So you know what's involved, you know, kind of, what you're getting into. Because what you don't want to do is you might do it and be like, yeah, I don't like this pressure. I don't like having these deadlines. I don't like, you know, any of this stuff. And if that's the case, then you definitely don't want to lock yourself into like a, 3, 6, or 9 month, 3, 6, 9, or 12 month, arrangement. So because of that, if you haven't done a brand deal before, I would definitely do, a few maybe. And then from there, then trying to start working out the long-term stuff. But if you enjoy it and you're like, hey, this brand was great, my audience responded well to this, I'm getting a lot of great feedback from what it is that they offer, my experience with them was fantastic, then following up with them and then trying to turn that into something longer and creating like a real relationship with them is definitely something to consider.
You're going to go through the process, and we've all done it. Everyone in here has worked with brands. You've all taken deals where maybe, like, even when you're taking the deal, sometimes you're like, do I really want this responsibility right now? And sometimes you turn them down. Sometimes you take it, and then as soon as you're like, oh, why did I do that? I don't want that responsibility right now. I just locked myself into 3 months, or you know what I mean, or whatever. But you're going to learn. You're trial by fire. You're going to do your first one, and you're going to learn from it. Then you're going to do your second one, and you might have a series of deals that just work out amazing. Then you're going to have that one really bad deal. And it's going to be unreasonable, and you're going to say, "Oh, I'm taking a break for a while."
Possibly,
possibly. Yeah. But it's part of the process. Like the ebbs and flows of working with brands. Some are fantastic. Some you're never going to want to work with again. I hope you don't have much experience there, but unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had anybody where I'm like, I would never. I mean, there's one, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever had anybody that I'd be like, I don't, based on the brand experience, that I would say like I never want to work with them again. I don't think I've ever had that.
I do.
Everybody's been like really cool.
Mine isn't the problem with the brand. Is it more so it's the agent that was representing the brand?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they'll have agents. The brands will reach out, work with the agents. The agents will reach out to you, and sometimes the agents are not the best. Yeah. So, yeah.
The worst is when you go through like the agent thing is when the agent has all these requirements and then you're like trying to get feedback from them and you're like sending them links and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll check on that today. And then they don't. And you're like, come on. Like what's going on? Like, this is part of my like schedule. Like, let's do this. Yeah. It's interesting. But motorcycle maintenance is the next channel is trying to learn bikes. They do motorcycle maintenance content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, I recently received a request for attention message from YouTube. It was in reference to a program called YouTube's Player for Education. It looks to be some type of ad-free program experience for students. Are there any advantages or disadvantages I should consider before opting into this offer? Thanks in advance for your always insightful advice. So when it comes to this feature, I opted into it as well. And basically what this does is think of it like premium for education. So, so basically it gives educational outlets the ability to use YouTube videos and what it is that they're doing in terms of instructing people and all of that. And if they use it and they're, showing your content, then you get you get basically ad money for it, for them using the stuff. So you do get compensated for that when they use it. But it basically just gives them permission to be able to do that. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we have J Dell Rocks. They want channel advice. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do mandala painting tutorials. Mandala. Oh, that's cool. painting tutorials. The goal is to be a full-time creator. And the question is, any channel advice is welcome. I need to double down on what I'm doing now to financially continue. My growth has been slow with bursts, but it's really slowing down. All my green arrows are gray. I've geeked out and got weird trying to figure out a few videos over 10K and most don't. I cannot find a difference whatsoever. I've posted a video every Sunday for 5 years without missing. Do I just suck? So let's take a look at what it is that you're doing. Let me get this ready, D, and then we will pull them up.
That's a hard question to ask. Do I suck? That's tough. And I find that no matter where you're at on your journey, sometimes you have those moments where you just, you take a swing and you miss, and you're just like, man, like, have I lost it? Do I suck? Do I suck now? What happened? You pulling them up?
Yeah, give me just a second here.
Sometimes it's not a suck, it's a stale, Doug says.
Yeah, right.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of tweaking. I mean, listen, if you're making mandalas, like, you don't suck.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible.
Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and get this shared here.
Let's get them up here.
Share screen. Let's go to J Jaw Rocks.
Here we go.
You got them up?
Almost. Here it is. Adding them right now. Boom.
Okay.
So, yeah, hold on. Yep, you suck. No,
yeah, this is the worst. This is the worst stuff I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm totally kidding. Yeah, totally kidding. Yeah.
Okay, so they're probably like, oh my gosh, they're horrible. These guys are jerks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
No.
Yeah,
just giving you a hard time. Okay, so JDL Rocks, next video, Sunday, 5 a.m. Okay, so all of that's good. Channel member shout out, Rock Legend Rob. That's cool that you're doing that sort of thing. Okay, so let's look at what matters here. Okay, mandala designs to inspire your next mandala. Okay.
Dude, you are crazy talented.
Easy DIY keychains using dot art and mandalas. Yeah, this is pretty incredible stuff.
This is incredible, dude.
Nice. Look at that. Yeah, so first, in your case specifically, I would be doing more shorts.
Yes.
Hold on. I clicked on the wrong button.
Oh, way to go.
Okay, yeah, you're doing shorts too. But I was going to say, like, with your content, I think shorts, because it's eye candy, right? I think shorts is definitely a win for you. But, when it comes to your long form content, you're getting, 1,000 views on, plus on a lot of these, at least in this, initial view here. So one thing that I can just kind of notice just right here at a quick glance is if you look at like this one right here, you have like a full, really gorgeous looking thing happening here, where this next one just isn't as, eye-catching and isn't as wowing, this particular one right here. And then same exact thing here. I know you're doing like, it says guidelines. So that's cool. And you're teaching people that. That's great. And if they're looking for that at scale, then this might end up doing okay. But I would definitely experiment. Like, this is one of the things where using YouTube's A/B testing tool would be super insightful. Just being like, hey, if I have the mandala guidelines over here and all of this side panel, do people respond to that more? Or if I just put this big grid as the thumbnail, do people respond to that more? If I focus it more on these types of things that I have in this right panel, do people respond more to that? And just use like those 3 tests for that particular one. I would definitely be trying that. But at a higher level, one thing that I would definitely consider, because you're doing this as how-to content for some of these. So if you're teaching people how to do these things, that's awesome. But one thing that I would do is I would look around. I would if you install, there's a YouTube tool called vidIQ, and I don't work with them in any way. I'm not, I don't get anything for recommending you there. But there's a tool called vidIQ where you can actually look for like estimated search volume on stuff. I would consider installing that, and you don't even, I think you can do it in the free version as well, just to try to get an idea of like how many people are looking around for like how-to tutorials on this. Because when you're making content, one of the things that you have to consider is, for the very specific thing that I'm talking about, like what's the general interest in this thing that I'm doing? And I mean, you're getting, 1,000 people, in some cases 2,400 people and so on that are responding to this. So there is an audience for some of it, but some of it might also come down to how you're framing it, right? So other things that you might want to just think about, and I know that you're focused on mandala stuff, but just trying to open these up a little bit, right? Because like here, you are doing easy DIY keychains using dot art and mandalas, so you are staying on brand there with the mandala stuff. but you are opening this up a little bit in terms of easy DIY keychains, right? So the thing that I was going to suggest is doing more things that are in alignment with this, to where you're like, okay, let's do it to where maybe we're not focusing so hard on it being a mandala. Instead, we're trying to wrap it around possibly, something that would apply more to like the art community at scale, that is interested. I'm guessing you're doing these with like paintbrushes and stuff that, might be interested in just painting in general, to where you can have not all of your content, but some of your content can introduce people to, to this type of art for people that are, into art in general.
Do you know that monks make these out of sand?
Yes.
That's just, I mean, it's incredible to paint them, making this stuff, and then they destroy them after they make them.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like, like your thumbnails and stuff, like I think like this particular one, like I wouldn't even worry about the text on these. Like the imagery itself, in my opinion, for some of these, not all of them, but like this one
sells itself, man.
Yeah, the image itself is stunning. So like I would try to lean more on that to grab attention, to where people are like, whoa, what is that? And then they look at the title from there.
One thing that I would do, just
here, while you're talking, I gotta step away for a second.
Yeah. One thing that I would do, just because your artwork, and I can't control the channel here, so I'm just going to run with what's showing on the screen. One thing that I would do with probably with your videos and your thumbnails, is whatever you're editing them on, be it your video or your images, go and take the saturation or the vibrance and bump them up just a little bit. Because what you're making is so colorful, but when I look at them here on YouTube, it's almost like they're losing the vibrance of what they could look like. And I think if you had just more vibrant images, I mean, don't get me wrong, what you're making is already absolutely insanely incredible. But just if you could add a little bit more vibrance to them, because when we make something and we capture it with video, like when this thing is in front of you, it might be incredibly vibrant. But once you capture it on video, depending on how you set your white balance and your lighting, the colors can shift a little bit. And then when you edit that and you compress it and you upload it to YouTube and they compress it again, sometimes you can lose some colors along the way with that too. Same with your images, right? You take the image of the thing, you compress it, you upload it to YouTube, they're going to compress it again. You can lose some some colors on that. So kind of overcompensate just a little bit to make these a little bit more vibrant. And I'm 100% on board with Nick when it comes to I would test letting the images speak for themselves.
So people are into this. So right here,
I mean, this is incredible work.
Like this one here's got 128,000 views, 67,000 views, 44,000 views. So one thing that
format of thumbnail seems to work better too.
Yes,
that split screen.
Yep. So yeah, like at a glance, and it looks like you've done it, a decent amount. And I don't know if you stopped on it because it stopped working. But like when it comes to your thumbnails, I mean, this one's got 20,000 views on it. Just gorgeous. Look at that. But like when it comes to your thumbnails, trying to, maintain things that, have been proven to work is definitely, something to consider. So like in the case of this one, right? Like all these look, awesome from the outside. And if you look at them, they're more kind of like zoomed out. And this one, it's actually pushed in a little bit, but it's showing like a lot of the detail there. So like, I think that, continuing to try this or just A/B testing. So basically every thumbnail that you put out or every video you put out, try one like this and then try one of the ones that you're currently doing and just kind of see if people, consistently respond to one better than the other. And another thing that I would do as well, because this one's 32 minutes. Let's look here. 11 minutes, 12. Yeah. Okay. You got a 30-minute one here. Let me see something really quick. 13 minutes, 30 minutes. No, here's a short one with a lot of views on it. Or 2.4. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't look for like the time limit really matters. I don't know. For some of them, though, it does. Like you had, like this one's 3 minutes and you got 534 views. This one's 7 minutes. You got 761. 33 minutes, 2.1 thousand. 16 minutes, 812. 37 minutes, 2.4 thousand. 12 minutes, back down to 1. 29 minutes, 1.2. 13 minutes to back down to 851. So yeah, so one thing that I would do also with this is I would pop these into the grouping feature based in Inside of your YouTube Analytics, you have a grouping feature that allows you to group content together. So basically, you can do it for a bunch of different things. Like, for example, you can group together all your thumbnails where you use this and just kind of look to see how they compare against thumbnails where you do something else. You can do it based on like, okay, here's one where I do, like a black and white, or where I do like a guide, and then here's ones where I do the painting tutorials. And then you can start to just quickly and clearly see what performs most based on what you're trying to accomplish. And I would do that for time stamps here and see if you notice a difference at all. Because I notice all of these, which is what made me think about it, is that all of these are like 30 minutes plus for these ones that, that did better. So I would definitely look into that. But another thing that I would do also on these ones that did well is I would go through and I would be like, okay, when this first started, like get in there and be nerdy about it and be like, okay, when this first started, like what was on the screen? What were people seeing as soon as they come into this video?
That first second.
Yep, that first second. When, was I talking, like basically like what was the series of events that happened during this video? And is it something that I can replicate? And did those series of events all happen here too? Right. And start looking for patterns. Those types of patterns. Yeah.
Incredible work.
But yeah, I think what you're doing is super cool. Yeah, it looks like that thumbnail style got lost a long time ago. So yeah, I would definitely experiment with that kind of stuff. Ooh, look at the color on that one. Holy cow. Yeah, you got some really cool stuff here. So yeah, just a few things there. So basically, testing your thumbnails, just trying to look for patterns and how you're putting it all together. There's people that are clearly interested in this. So, as long as that particular part in terms of the interest stays consistent, then, then I think you're okay. But I would definitely be experimenting with, structurally what's going on here.
I would love to have a guitar.
Oh, painted like that?
Painted like this.
Gorgeous.
Right?
That'd be absolutely gorgeous.
Man. Yeah. Amazing work. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would, just, go into the grouping feature, look at it for timestamps and just see if you notice a difference. Because what I'm just looking at a glance while we're here live, kind of on the fly, it looks like there might be some type of, difference there. But I would definitely experiment with the thumbnails, with every video that you upload to see if, people are responding one to the other. I heard Dee mentioning, about kind of adding some saturation, things like that to like really make them pop. And another thing too, like, if I just go up here,
like you're already making something that is incredible. So by maybe upping the production value a little bit and making things a little bit more vibrant and maybe a little bit more hyper real, I think that might add to what it is that it's something I would test. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't mean that's going to be a solution, but just sometimes those tiny little tweaks, that perception, if somebody's just scrolling on their phone, like, whoa, like sometimes artwork can be like that.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
And one more thing, and I should have mentioned this earlier too, is with those videos that did exceptionally well from this list, out of your most popular videos, I would also see where the views came from, because I don't know if you got those views from like browse features on YouTube. I don't know if you got a majority of search traffic and that's what was, making those videos do well. But if you do find that it was search traffic, then in that particular case, like at just one quick mandala tutorial, you can see here all these different ways that people are looking for what it is that you are showing people how to do.
What are other people doing?
Hold on. But basically, using this right here to make more search targeted videos, if and only if you find that those videos that did well, if you find that these came mostly from YouTube search in terms of majority of the views. Yeah, we're on that one for a while, so we'll continue on.
But that was
super cool stuff, though.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Oh, it's coming from browse. Okay. Yeah, so if it's coming from browse, then in that case, that's where, thumbnail testing, all that stuff is going to come into play, making sure that, the times and the video length, testing that stuff to make sure that you are, making the right decisions around video length and all of that too.
Yeah, I don't know what else you're doing to monetize this, but that seems like the type of channel that you could do
really cool, like merch.
Yeah, I wouldn't put like no logo, just like a mandala on a shirt. Yep. No logos, no text, no YouTube channel, just like, take high quality images, get them transferred over to shirts, do custom work where people can send you stuff and you can put coffee cups with mandalas on them and, send me your stuff and I can paint mandalas. Like, yeah, it just seems like that's a gold mine.
Yeah, so it looks like they do buy my art. So they sell their art on eBay. And they also have some like digital downloads and that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, they
Cool
do like
stuff.
mandala on like, I'm just going to show this because it's so pretty.
Okay, let's go. Put it back up.
And then we'll get on to the next question. I just want to show this here really quick though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so basically what they're doing here is they're basically painting this on like rocks and stuff.
There you go.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, that's
incredible. Yeah, absolutely love that. So yeah, really cool stuff.
I would never have the patience to do something like that.
You might.
No,
if that asteroid comes.
No.
You might.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. You'll have all kinds of patience then. Huh?
That's right. All right, next.
All right. So next up on the list, here we go. So next up, we've got Switch Gaming. Switch Gaming wants channel advice as well. Been on YouTube for a year or more. They say, please look at the live stream tab. And it says, when looking at channel, please look at live stream tab. Should I have ads on during live streams? So when it comes to having ads on during live streams, because that was your question, with that, I don't think I need to look at the channel for that, or at least I don't think I need to bring it up on screen. But when it comes to having ads on during your live streams, I think that you should have ads on during your live streams, unless you have something to sell. And even still, you can have ads on your live streams because not every person that's coming in is going to, see an ad anyway. So yeah, having ads on your live stream is definitely something that I would do. And in some cases, depending on your audience and that sort of thing, I mean, you can also trigger ads while you're streaming as well. So that's going to come down to personal preference. I don't do that. But it's something that you can do if you want to increase the amount of money that you're generating from your live streams. A lot of people do that and it's kind of normalized on YouTube. So you can absolutely do that. Premium users aren't going to see it. Just people that are not premium users are going to. So because of that, yeah, I would definitely have ads on, unless you're selling something. But again, even with that, you can still have ads on and be perfectly fine. Next up. So next up, we've got Travel with Clem. They upload when they have time. It's a travel channel. The goal of the channel is to make money. And it says, my audience is currently U.S. and Caribbean based, but I'm trying to grow an audience in Canada. What advice do you recommend to grow consistently? I'm also planning to do a tour across Canada this fall. I'll restart frequently, weekly uploads from this month, from August. So once you start making content about Canada, then you're going to start getting more of a Canadian audience. Outside of that, unless you make content about Canada, then in that case, there's nothing really that you're going to be able to do to, just bring Canadians in there, unless you are talking about, something that they care about. So for that, your question here was basically about, trying to get the audience in there. So for that, I don't think you needed the channel advice. Okay, I see. Okay, I framed that wrong, I think.
Good job.
But yeah, so it's not to pull up the channel, but just get that advice. Yeah, so for Canadians, I think once you travel to there and you're making content about that, you might be able to pull in more Canadian folks once you get to that point. Next up. Shark Scrapper says he hates ads during live streams before and after, but not during the stream. It ruins the flow. It does. It definitely kind of breaks things up. Definitely breaks things up a little bit. I agree. But for a lot of stuff though, it's normal and accepted there. But I feel like I'm kind of the same way. It's like you're going, you got that the whole thing, going along and it's moving along. And then like all of a sudden, you're talking about Toyota for so many seconds. It's like, hey, where'd this come from? Like a totally different vibe. Okay. So next up we've got Explore Norway. Explore Norway uploads when they have time, been on YouTube for a year or more. It's Travel Advice Norway. And the question is, from time to time, I receive messages on Facebook, Instagram, or email from people who want me to help them plan their road trip. This is quite time consuming and doesn't really benefit me directly, except for making one person happy. It's also not guaranteed that they'll watch my content after they have been to Norway. I thought I could introduce a new paid membership tier at $15 or $20, which people would need to subscribe to before I start helping. Is that a good idea? How do you handle that? Because I'm sure you get tons of requests. And it says, it looks like my peak period is shifting from July 15th to the first half of August. Interesting. So when it comes to outreach, so for me, and a lot of people do this. So for the new people here that have just started YouTube channels, as your channel starts getting more attention, depending on what your content's about, you can start getting a little bit of people reaching out to you, and you can start getting a lot of people reaching out to you. So if you're making like help content, DIY content, things like that, then you are increasing the chances of a lot of people reaching out to you. And at some point, you have to, you know, start prioritizing your time, because you might want to help everybody, but in reality, you know, if you spend all day, you know, helping everybody, then in that case, you know, it kind of takes away from making content and, you know, your life and, you know, doing all of those types of things. So because of that, one thing that I do is I prioritize channel members. So I'll still, you know, if somebody sends me a, you know, Instagram DM or a DM on X or something like that, or an email, if I have the time in that moment, because it has to be in that moment, right? So if I have the time when I see it before I move on to the next DM, then in that case, if they're asking something and I go and I look at the channel and I'm like, yeah, they're taking it seriously, and you know, they're doing all the stuff, but man, if they could just get a little bit, you know, of more information, then, you know, it might really be helpful for them. So in that particular case, you know, I'll do it anyway. But when it comes to prioritizing things, I prioritize, you know, channel members in terms of outreach. And because of that, that's how we have the groups and stuff, so that if somebody has a question, I go in and I check that, and then, you know, that's the first place that I go to. So you can do something similar, or because when it comes to people traveling somewhere, you probably have, you know, very specific things that you can do for people in terms of, you should go see this, you should go see this, go see this. So what you might want to consider doing is, instead of, you know, making it to where people have to become a channel member, you could put like, just spend, especially right now, because you're in like downtime. So since you're in downtime, spend this time, you know, over the next, you know, couple of weeks or even the next week, and just say, okay, I'm going to put together, or even the next 3 weeks, whatever, I'm going to spend, you know, this time putting together like different packages that I can offer to people, and say, based on your budget, this is, you know, the trip that you might want to take. Based on your interest, this is the trip that you might want to take, and try to come up with some pretty loose plans that you can put together. And then you can make those itineraries available for download. And how you would do that is, you would go ahead and pre-make those itineraries, and then you would upload them to somewhere like Selfie, SendOwl, Gumroad, you know, one of those types of places. And then you would make those available. If you wanted to go the other route, you can use something like Spreadshop, and then with Spreadshop, you can actually connect them underneath your YouTube channel, as long as you have the requirements there, which I believe you do. And then people actually will see those right underneath your videos as well, for people that are traveling there. And then by doing that, what you're doing is you're giving yourself the opportunity to also sell, you know, digital products, essentially. So if they reach out to you and they're like, hey, you know, we're coming to Norway, we'd love for you to help us put a plan together. Step one is, hey, here's my website, or here's my, you know, wherever it is that you send people for this, Gumroad, or, you know, wherever. So here's my stuff. This is, you know, the plans that I put together, you know, for people. And, you know, you can, you know, pick one of these based on, you know, the experience that you're trying to have. And then what that does is that keeps you from having to spend like one-on-one time, especially for like 15 or 20 bucks, right? Because, you know, if they give you $20, you don't, I mean, you know, like you might want to do that, but, you know, in a lot of cases, I would say, you know, for $15 or $20, it might not be worth the amount of time that you would need to spend putting that together. So because of that, if you can, you know, put together some, you know, downloadables, or maybe some video content or something like that, that you can have available as a download, then when somebody reaches out, you can just send them there first. And then if they're like, oh no, I want something custom, then charge a premium for it, right? Because you're making this content, you're putting in all the effort, you know, to the videos. They found you through that free content that you're providing. And if they want something custom outside of that, then, you know, by all means, you know, don't hesitate to, you know, to be like, hey, this is going to take me quite some time, so I'm going to, you know, charge for it. And they're spending money to come to Norway and all those things anyway. So let me charge them a fair fee for that, and then, you know, put together like a really cool package for them. But basically having the digital downloads for people that are just looking for guidance. And then from there, if they want something custom, then, you know, make that substantially higher than the digital downloads, and just make it to where it would be worth your time to put together something custom. That would be the approach. That would be the approach that I would take. And you say that's what the competition is doing. Yeah, like, you know, like they're probably doing that because it's working. Like, you know, one of the things when it comes to that sort of thing is what you're doing is you're just making it easy for people, right? Like I have a friend of mine, he makes travel content too, and he does itineraries, and he does very well through itineraries. So, you know, when it comes to that sort of thing, like some people, you know, they might not necessarily need the custom thing, like the pre-made thing might be perfect for them, to where it's like, oh, okay, I'm coming there. This is way easy to just go into a video description and get this thing than, you know, trying to send emails back and forth and trying to figure things out, right? So, so I would definitely, you know, try to put together that type of offering too. Next up, we got Agent Casey G. What's up, Casey? Hope you're doing great. The question here, they upload every other day, been on YouTube for a year or more. They do real estate photography content. The goal that, the question is, I'm building a course teaching Matterport basics, visual tours of homes. Right now I have the first two modules, basically an intro to the course and the equipment needed. Should I complete the course before selling it, or do I promo and drip the other modules weekly? Your call. Depends on how you want to put it together. Like, you know, some people will get everything done and then make it available and drip it that way. Some people make everything available and then they just, you know, let people have all of it. Some people will, you know, do it to where they do everything live. And then, you know, while they're doing it live, and in your case, I'm not sure if you'd be able to do that, but while they're doing it live, they're using that as the course content, and then they'll make that available later for, you know, everybody else. Like all kinds of different approaches that you can take for it. So in terms of the best approach, I'm not sure. But when it comes to that, if you wanted to get ahead of it, one thing that you could do is set up a email capture and let people know, hey, I got this thing that I'm working on. If you are interested in it, and Dee and I are actually putting one of these together for ours too, because we're working on one too. But basically, you know, if you're interested in that, then just go put your name in here, and then once it's available, then we'll let you know that it's available. And then that way, you can do the whole thing if you want, based on the emails that are coming in. And if you don't have a lot of emails coming in, then in that case, you can say, okay, well, let me do like these first couple of modules, and then make that available and see if people are interested in that. And then if they are, then in that case, you could, you know, get on the hustle, so to speak, and make the rest of the content. And if you find that they're not, and then everything is moving slow, then at least you didn't make a full-blown course, you know, before letting it out. So a lot of options there in terms of what you can do. Artist Haven, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Chantel, hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here as always. Sue, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Monique, nice to see you. So next up, we've got Prius Brent Goldie. They upload one time per week or more. They do Prius car camping. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what I like. And the question is very general. One or two things I can do to retrain viewers to grow my small car camping channel, or am I just not good at this? Be very honest or be brutally honest. Thank you. So you have it as the question answered, but I will just pull it up real quick and take a look. Yeah, so the very first thing in terms of just getting people to retain viewers and grow your small car camping channel is you have to, of course, be making content that people are interested in. I mean, you got 952 subscribers, so you're doing something right. But when it comes to publishing content, another thing that is important is if you want people to keep coming back, you got to keep giving them content to come back to. Like I'm looking at this right now on your channel, and I'll just pull it up here real quick so everybody can see what I'm talking about. But like I'm looking at your channel right here, and you know, you had a big break right here, you know, a month ago, and then you went down to 10 days and then 3 days. So you took a little bit of time off, which is fine. Like, you know, you don't have to just, you know, grind it out all the time. But if you are wanting to grow that audience, you know, staying consistent, kind of like clockwork for a period of time can definitely be advantageous, because then, you know, people can start working you into their schedules. And the way that you do this is if you are publishing at kind of your cadence here, where, you know, it's like, hey, maybe I'm going to do weekly content, then in that case, you pick a day and a rough time, and then you publish at that time consistently. And then what happens there is, you know, people have their life patterns that they use, and, you know, YouTube is a part of that in terms of consuming content. So when you publish on the same day and roughly the same time, then when you're publishing videos, you're getting in front of, or giving yourself the opportunity, as long as they respond to the content, to, you know, get in front of, you know, a lot of the same people that would keep them coming back. And then by doing that, you're also giving yourself the opportunity to, if YouTube sees a lot of people coming back and they're enjoying the content, then YouTube's more likely to show that content to larger groups of people. So then you give yourself that opportunity as well. But one thing that I would do though is I would definitely go through and just kind of look at like in your case, I would just go through and look at everything it is that you're doing. So here you have Prius Travel Camper, then you got a bunch of other stuff going on, but people responded to this one way better than they've responded to everything else. So one is I would be wildly creative with the content right now and experimental to see if you can break out of this, under 1,000 jail, and not jail, but basically out of this under 1,000 scenario, and get people responding to it at a higher, at a higher level. Because I think what you're doing is interesting, but I think that, it could be possibly how things are, packaged up, or it could be once they get into the video, maybe they're not responding as well as, as we'd like them to there. So yeah, I would definitely pay attention. I mean, you don't have tons of information to work with, but like on this video with like 600 views on it, this type of, video here can be like, okay, when I started this, if I look at my audience retention reports, like how are people responding to these different things that I was doing in the video, and try to find things that you can do that, that's holding people more versus, letting them leave or letting them lose interest, so to speak. Which is hard. It's challenging. And in terms of your thing mentioning that, or do I just suck at this? When it comes to YouTube, like we all suck at it when we first get started. So, or I can't say we all, but most people, we suck at it when we first get started. And then you have to, learn how to do all the things. So the big message that I want to share with you is if you've been doing things a certain way, that way currently, because you got 400 and something videos on the channel, that way currently isn't working. So because of that, you need to experiment. So experiment with how you're starting the videos, experiment, like still do it around the camping if that's going to be the theme of the channel, but just experiment with how you're doing everything. Watch other videos of people that are doing similar content and literally split. If you're, if you have if you're on a computer, or if you're on a phone, just watch their video and then watch your video, but basically start taking notes on other people that are making similar content and be like, okay, how do they start their videos? How long, are they on camera when they start? Are they not on camera when they start? Do they have music? Do they not have music? What are they focusing the viewer on when the content first starts? How are they grabbing people's attention from the outside? What types of thumbnails are they using? That kind of thing. And start using them as a model to figure it out. And then once you use them as a model to figure it out, and you do get it figured out to where all of your videos start hitting a higher baseline, then that's where you're like, okay, now I'm getting this, consistent viewership coming in. So now let me start experimenting with things that are going to make this more, my own. I mean, you're in it. It's about you and your adventures through Prius camping, but like structurally, like, well, hey, I would love to be able to add this in here and see how people respond to it. That's what I mean by the experimentation. So Field Guide to DIY is our next channel. They do, they upload one time per week or more. They've been making videos for 1 year or more. They do educational and home improvement content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, you say for us to focus on creating content that connects with viewers. Does it hurt my channel to occasionally create content that I enjoy creating but may not connect with my regular audience? So the rule of thumb, like you can do anything you want. I mean, not anything, but within the rules of terms of service and community guidelines, you can do anything you want. When it comes to publishing something to your channel that isn't going to connect with your regular audience, there should be a strong reason to publish it on that channel, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm publishing this video here because if it does well, I want to completely pivot my channel and start going in that direction. Then in that case, it's, then that would be a good case for it. If you're like, hey, this video that I'm thinking of publishing to my channel, I talk about this, but I think there's going to be a lot of crossover into this other thing that I would really love to do. Then in that case, publishing it for the experiment. Like, how does my regular audience, how do they respond to it? And then if they respond well, then you keep doing it. But if you want to give yourself the best opportunity for growth on YouTube, the whole thing is that you're making content for other people, right? You want to make content that you enjoy, of course, but it's important to just remember that you're making content for other people. And if you're making content for other people, then there's not a reason to give them something that they don't want from you or that they're not interested in from you. So if you're doing it as like a creative expression and that's the reason, then you might want to throw that on another channel. But if you're doing it for experimentation purposes to see how your audience responds to it or a possible pivot or something like that, then in that case, that's where it's more appropriate to publish it on the same channel if it's not in alignment with what your current viewers care about. Next up. Home Rapid Repair, I'm going to highlight this for a second, says if it's a business in terms of you're publishing content, you're making money from it, and you're like, doing the thing, only post content that your viewers will love. Yep. Excellent advice. So next up on the list here, we've got Off the Shelf Rides. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do automotive reviews. The goal is to quit their job and to be a full-time creator. And the question is, I have the audio dubbing feature on. I found out that you can't use the YouTube editor to edit without deleting the dubbed languages first. Just a FYI. But the question is, my video editor can dub my video in any language and in my own voice. Can I upload this file and replace the YouTube dubbed version, or do I have to turn off the auto dubbing? Yeah, once a video is published on YouTube, unfortunately, you can't upload a new video to replace it. So because of that, yeah, that particular thing's not going to work. What your editor could do is you could create multiple channels in multiple languages where the thumbnails are those, are in that language, and all the text on the channels in that language, your descriptions are in that language, all that stuff, and have localized channels. Some people do that. Or if you're going to delete it, then in that case, or edit the video and it's going to delete those dubs, then you just take the hit on those, right? So the best move is to, when you publish it, if you know you're going to be using the dubs, just make sure that you publish what it is that you want, so that you make sure that you don't have to go in and use the editor to try to make any changes.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Next up, Own Your Wings is the next channel. They upload 1 time per week or more. The type of channel is having professionals transition from corporate into their own business, also speaking about the freedom of living between the UK and the Caribbean. Oh, that sounds cool. Goal is to teach others, and says, I would like you to critique my thumbnails and whether my titles are catchy enough. So let me pull up your channel here and see what you got. See what you got going on here. Let me pop this out so we can keep it all isolated here. Add this to the stage. All right. And hey, as a quick reminder, hold on. One quick thing here that I just want to remind you of, just in case this is your first time joining the stream and you haven't heard this yet, is I have a app that I made for content creators. It's called New Creator, and it has all kinds of helpful things for you to help you with your channel. It has a content planner in there, a place to come up with video ideas. Some of the stuff that people are really enjoying is the thumbnail tool, where you can upload a thumbnail. It gives you all kinds of feedback on your thumbnails. You can create titles by just typing in a description of what your video is about, those types of things. But I'm getting all kinds of great feedback on the tool. So if you haven't tried it out yet, there's a link at the top of the chat right now, and it's just kind of floating in the chat too, where you can give New Creator a shot and see if you find value in it. So it's for iPhone, also works great on iPads as well. And I'm also working on a desktop version currently also, so that should be out soon too. But make sure that you check it out when you get the chance so you can see what's all involved. And you can do that at newcreator.app, or you can look for New Creator in the App Store. And there's also a QR code actually right here below my little camera shot that you can scan too if you happen to be watching on a TV or computer, where it's just easier to do it that way. Thank you for the coffee. Appreciate it, Elizabeth. So here, looking at Rachel's channel, the feedback that that they wanted was critique the thumbnails and whether the titles are catchy enough. So let's look at what you're doing here. Let me size this so it fills everything up a little bit more. There we go.
Thank you for the coffee.
Okay, so when it comes to...
What's the channel about?
The channel's about corporate career coach, speaker, transformational coaches, speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure what the actual, viewer pointed value is.
You okay? You're right over there?
Yep.
All right.
But that's, so one thing, if you can't tell right now, this is all about you. So I just want to bring this to your attention real quick. Hi, my name is Rachel. I am corporate career coach, speaker, blah, blah. I'm Rachel, founder of this, transformational coach and speaker. This is all me, 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 me. This is all me, 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 me. Put something in here that lets people know what it is that you're doing for them, right?
Yes.
That's just like a little, little tiny detail that when somebody comes here, they can be like, oh, okay, this is what's going on here, right? So they can decide instantly if they want, more of that or not.
I just at a glance, when I come across a channel, I'm more interested in what you're going to do for me. Like, why should I watch your? I'm glad you have all of these credentials, but what are you going to do for me?
Right.
Make that clear.
Yep.
Right. You have to find that balance between showing that you have the authority in your niche versus what you're able to do for the people who come to your channel and want to watch your content.
Yep. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to look at your thumbnails here. So when it comes to your thumbnails, like these are really wordy in terms of, you're putting a lot of, text on these, and you have like, avoid burnout is like the, main focus of the thumbnail. And I think that's okay. But one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is if you look at this 9 to 5 plus family plus business, like you're making all this really complicated. Right. Try to condense, like when you're putting text in thumbnails, the whole idea is that it's supposed to give some additional context to the viewer that sees this thumbnail, right? Because you're trying to grab their attention about things that they care about, which the burnout, might be the thing that you're using here. But you just want to make everything just super easy to understand at a glance, right? Because people aren't studying thumbnails on YouTube. They're just looking around like, hey, what do I want to watch, right? So because of that, I would just try to simplify this type of thing with your thumbnails. I think the emotion that you have in here is fine, but I would try to use like higher quality photos if you can, just because, they look better. Like if you, look all around YouTube for this type of content, you're going to see a lot of really great looking thumbnails and, nice, high quality images and, things like that. And that's who you're competing with. So since that's who you're competing with, I would definitely, just make sure that you are, kind of meeting that standard. Other little tiny details, just from like a design perspective, is if you look at, the image itself, it's kind of washed out. If you look at the text right here, the 9 to 5 plus family plus business equals, like that kind of fades into the background. You can see it here at this large size, but if we go back to having it embedded in the channel, it's all, it's really difficult to read at that small size. And again, when it comes to, home pages and suggested videos and, everything else, like, you need to make it clear at a small size. So you can see just the difference if you look at this thumbnail and then you compare that to, here, let's just do it this way. And hey, D, we got the opportunity to use this here. Here we go.
Right. Is it working?
Yep.
All right.
So if you look at this thumbnail and you compare this thumbnail, right? This one here, the text on this one, you can just, that's just super crystal clear at a glance, right? It pops out. There's enough contrast there. But here, everything's getting kind of lost, right? So just kind of take that into consideration when it comes to that.
Yeah, you need to be able to read this stuff at a glance.
Yeah.
At a split second. Nobody's going to pause and try to figure out, well, what does this say? I can't read this word. You literally have less than a second to get your idea in front of the viewer.
Yep. Yeah, and same thing here too, is like, and this is really important for everybody, and we don't talk a lot about this, but like when it comes to your thumbnails, it's okay to use, amateur type thumbnails. That's perfectly fine. But you do need to make sure that, you are making it still look like it might be quality content behind it.
Yeah.
So when you are making a thumbnail for your video, remember that thumbnail, it's not just creating an impression of like, hey, what is this video going to be about? And, or that expectation of what this video is going to be about, but it's also creating an expectation of the quality of the content that's behind it. And if you can't represent it well in the thumbnail, then it makes it feel from the outside like, okay, this is probably, let me go watch something else, right? Because this is probably based on how things, currently look, it might not be the best experience once I click on this, right? So if possible, try to do core things, little tiny details. Like you might want to look into something called the rule of thirds, because right here you can see that, you're like way off over here on the side where you're almost not even there. And then you have this big focus right here, over on the text on this side where this text could be more kind of squeezed over that way. You could at least be moved over if you are going to be in this third here. You could be scooted over a little bit to where there's like a little bit more with you, kind of like you're doing right here, actually. Like that's great.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that down for just a second.
What are you doing?
I'm going to remove her. I'm putting you full screen, and I'm putting this overlay on. I'm putting this rule of thirds overlay on.
Okay.
Here. So you're on right now.
Okay.
Kind of give her an idea. Kind of explain to everyone about the rule of thirds.
You explain it, and I'll move around.
Okay, so this is called the rule of thirds. The idea is that the screen is split into 3 different sections in any particular direction. Now, you can frame things any particular way.
I feel like Vanna White.
You kind of look like Vanna White today. When you came to pick me up, I was like, you look a little bit like Vanna White.
I was kind of feeling like Vanna White, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea is...
Now you're all clear, Renee. Daniel accidentally banned Renee last week.
Daniel Battelle banned Renee?
Yeah, he was, because he's recovering from his knee, so he was on pain meds, and he's just like clicking around and ended up banning him on accident.
You know what? Sometimes you need to ban YouTube employees. Sometimes you gotta lay the hammer down, and you gotta let them know who's running stuff. Just because you're employed by YouTube, just because you are the official YouTube creator liaison, does not mean you are not an unbannable person in this chat, Renee. Daniel is the guardian of the Nemonati chat.
He said that he implied that you're next. Daniel did.
Listen,
so he's coming for all of us. Daniel's going to ban me. He's going to come into the channel and ban me.
No one is above the hatchet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And if anyone is going to ban me, I want it to be Daniel. Because I trust his judgment.
Okay, rule of thirds.
All right, rule of thirds. Now, this is just a crash course. You can go down this rabbit hole, and and everyone watching this should go down the rabbit hole. So first of all, show her what she was doing with that image. You are way over here on the side, and you see how everything is kind of off balance. The general idea of the rule of thirds is so that you can have everything within a certain level of balance within the shot. So you could have put yourself in the center of this third, or you could put yourself on this line right here, or you could have put yourself in the center of the shot, or in the other line, or on the other side. Now that's the very basics of it. You can do other things to where, I mean, technically, if we really wanted to line this up perfectly, that horizontal line would probably line up with his eyes, right? So you can use that as an eye line. You can also use the intersecting points. Go to one of the corners over there, one of the edges, right? So you could use one of those intersection points to where your face could be at an intersection point. So that would be, okay, this is a proper place to put your face. So that's kind of the basics of that. You don't have to follow it for every single scenario, but it's a good idea to learn about this. So when you're putting thumbnails together, when you are framing your videos, it gives you a general idea of where things should go. Doesn't mean you can't break the rules, but you at least need to know what the rules are so you have a better idea as if you are going to break them, how can I break them and still be within a certain boundary of it being visually appealing versus visually distracting. And if you go in and there's a couple of different rules when it comes to, this is a rule of thirds, there's all kinds of different ones that filmmakers use. But any cinematic shot that you're ever going to see is going to have some sort of a framing built into it. Right? They don't just eyeball that stuff. There's always some sort of a framework involved with just about any shot.
Yeah, and the idea is that, you can use that in video, but you can also use that in design as well. So like when you're putting the thumbnails together and you're like, okay, where am I going to position myself and, those types of things, then you can, keep that sort of thing in mind. But basically when it comes to your thumbnails,
that was just a really basic explanation of it. I go down that rabbit hole, watch some videos on it. Rule of thirds, how can I apply them?
Yeah. So other things too is like here you have like corporate didn't prepare me, and then you have corporate can't teach you and running your own business. So you're not necessarily duplicating this, but like trying to think about the thumbnail and title work together as a team, right? It comes to YouTube, and trying to think about like, okay, corporate didn't prepare me, that's fine, but one, what does this mean to the viewer, right? But two is thinking to yourself like, okay, what could I put here that might speak more to the viewer and help grab their attention so that, they'll read the thumbnail. Like this is okay, but, I'm not sure what the actual content itself is about, but, even these, like 5 things corporate can't teach you when running your own business, something like, any ideas, D?
For what?
For something that would replace corporate didn't prepare me in the thumbnail for something compelling.
Corporate didn't prepare me?
Yeah, videos 5 things corporate can't teach you when running your own business.
Corporate didn't prepare me. Think about that. Corporate didn't prepare me. Off the top of my head, no. Corporate didn't prepare me. Just say I'm unprepared.
In the chat, you got any ideas?
And just say I'm unprepared.
Yeah. Or something, like corporate, can't teach you something about like, jobs. Or,
No one told me.
Yeah, no one told me. I mean, it's kind of similar, but yeah, but it would give you much bigger text if you did something like that, right? So it would be more attention grabbing. But I would also, because when I click on this button right here, when it goes to full size, that usually means, and it could be, you know, in error. So, you know, I'm not saying that this is exactly what's happening, but this is how the tool works. So when I click on these on channels or on videos, I should say, that are doing A/B testing on their thumbnails, first it'll show a small thumbnail and then it shows the big one. So currently it doesn't look like you're A/B testing. Again, it could be wrong. You might be. But if you are not, one thing that I would do is I would do a lot of A/B testing right now for your thumbnails, because I think your titles are okay. But when it comes to, you know, your thumbnails, I do think that your thumbnails, you know, could use work. So I would do other things too, like, you know, like here where it has like you sitting there journaling or writing something down. This one with you sitting on the computer, like that by itself, just being like, hey, if I use this, let me use YouTube's A/B testing tool. And then if I compare this thumbnail that's currently here, and then I use this same exact photo, but it's just me sitting on my laptop with no text at all, do people respond to that? Because that imagery connects to them, right? So doing those types of things can also help you, you know, ultimately land on something that consistently works when it comes to your thumbnails.
Corporate failure. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's
corporate
good.
failure.
That's good.
Yeah. I hate being put on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, think about this, right?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it's like I just can't come up with something.
Well, I mean, that's not my wheelhouse.
Right.
Like that niche. Like I'd have to really sit down and kind of like think of, okay, what would be a good alternative to that?
Yeah, I don't think
corporate
either of us
failure.
have a corporate bone in our body.
Yeah.
A corporate cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're banning Renee Ritchie from the chat. I mean, if you want to talk about being the opposite of like corporate players, we banned a YouTube employee from our chat. But let that be a lesson to all the other YouTube employees. Hey, Renee, I saw somebody say it was your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday, dude.
Renee Ritchie.
Yeah, nice.
YouTube's
Happy
creator
birthday,
liaison.
man.
And as your gift, you're welcome back in the chat. Don't cross the line. Daniel's watching you.
He might have banned himself. Yeah, it seems
Daniel?
like he was. Yeah. Seems like he might have been having a rough day that day. So yeah, it's possible he might have.
Daniel's in there with just
accidentally deleting his own YouTube accounts and stuff.
Yeah. Look at Daniel.
Like, I didn't even realize I deleted my account. Yeah.
Daniel used to have a thriving YouTube channel. That was Renee's revenge.
Right. Sounds like a movie. Okay, so
Renee's
Own Your
Revenge.
Wings.
Yeah.
Own Your Wings is the next channel. They have been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is helping professionals transition. Okay, I just did that one.
Really quick, had a super chat. Hey, thank you so much.
Super chat.
Sci-Fi Ocean says, D, thanks. You were the first person to give me book recommendations for my sci-fi app.
Oh, nice.
Man, happy to help.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So let's see here. So David Foster Vlog is the next channel. He uploads 1 time per week or more. He's a vlogger. The goal is to have fun. And the question is, what do you talk about? What do you think about vertical and horizontal live streams at the same time, same channel? You're allowed to do that. So I've done that in the past, and I actually found that in the feedback that I got was that because a lot of people watch the stream on a mobile device, is I got great feedback on it, and I considered doing it more. But I just didn't. But basically, the feedback that I got was that a lot of people actually enjoyed the vertical version more. Yeah. Just because it was like full screen and like all that stuff.
If you're on your phone, it looks better.
Right.
Yeah.
So unless you turn it sideways, but like the response to that was great. So because of that, give it a shot and see, the response that you get from your viewers. I know that, when you do have that vertical stream going, like people got to click on the other version, right? But when you come to the vertical version, especially with vlog content, then you get to bring people like right into what it is that you're doing, like as soon as that pops up in their feed. So there's a huge advantage there when it comes to that. So yeah, I would definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, I tried that when I was testing Meld. I tried to go live on both, and I didn't know I had to have like 2 different stream keys, and I sent essentially the same signal. So like the vertical one was overriding. No, the horizontal version was overriding
the vertical.
It was showing in a vertical format, but it was a horizontal shot. Yeah, I massively botched that one.
Yep. Yeah, and Renee mentions that vertical can also get discovery from the shorts feed, which is a win.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Train Room. The Train Room uploads when they have time. The type of channel is model railroad channel. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, most of the other creators, like the one that I have linked, have similar videos where they explained what they built. Spend a lot of time to actually record most of the things we are making, but the others just point their cameras at an area and talk for 5 minutes of what they've done. maybe you could compare my latest video. So we don't watch videos during the stream just because of copyright issues. I don't know the music you're playing. I don't know if you know, like
the
I
content.
I don't have the rights to the images like you do, that kind of stuff. So because of that, I like to play it safe when it comes to my channel, so I don't look at videos on the channel. But it says, could it be that we have the wrong trains? We are a cultural fusion because I'm Swiss and my friend is Norwegian. So we have trains of both countries on the layout, and it makes it look less serious. So yeah, if you find that, you know, that other people are getting a response one way, it's definitely something that you can experiment with. And I'm not going to pull it up on screen, but I'm just going to look and see what it is that you're doing compared to that other channel that you're talking about. But keep in mind, like when it comes to, and this is a thing that takes some time for people sometimes, and it took me some time too. And it wasn't until I started doing consulting that I started thinking in this way. But sometimes, like the things that other people are doing, it might seem like it's low effort, but when it comes to how people respond to it, they are engaging through the conversation or what it is that they're showing in the video in a way that the viewers are just responding to well, right? So because of that, sometimes, you know, you can overdo it when it comes to production and all that stuff, and people just don't respond. And you're like, what's going on? I'm putting all this time, doing all these crazy edits. I've got everything looking, you know, really good and whatever. And then you got somebody who's walking down the street like, hey guys, whatever, and the camera's shaky and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just by, you know, how it is that they're communicating and that kind of stuff, you know, people are like, hey, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So like, you know.
Have you ever seen the gorillas doing that? I don't know how they get the gorillas doing the selfie vlogs.
Oh, yeah.
That's so, I don't know how they train them to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talk too.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I've
pretty
seen
incredible.
like a Yeti and a gorilla.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I thought Yetis didn't even exist too
Yeah,
until then.
They're making good content.
Have you seen the Stormtrooper vlogs? Those are pretty cool too.
They are.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were real. I was like, man, I thought all that was like, you know, science fiction. But then I see Stormtrooper vlogs, and I'm like, oh my God, Stormtroopers are real.
Yeah, well, I think it's
like, what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm surprised Disney hasn't dropped the hammer on that.
Yeah, me too. They probably have.
I'm really surprised Disney hasn't come in. And
just
done
kidding. We know
yet.
they're not real. Well, I mean, I mean, you know, do you know?
I don't know,
real?
man. Those gorillas, they look gorillas.
They do look real though.
They look real to me.
But back on the train room. So when it comes to, you know, what it is that you're doing though, you know, the effort doesn't always equal, you know, that result that we want. So because of that, you know, I would look at, you know, like, even though they're just pointing the camera at something, you know, look at how they're communicating with the camera, look at, you know, their titles, look at their thumbnails, because that click part is a really big part of it too. Like once they get into the video, you might be getting the same response that they're getting, but you know, they might just be getting more people clicking on what it is that they're doing. Another thing is they, you know, they've got 307 videos driving the channel, and you have 138. You know, so keep that in mind as well in terms of, you know, they have an archive that could be, you know, having viewers come in there, you know, every day through some of those. And because of that, there's a lot of people interacting with the content. So when they publish something new, YouTube's like, hey, let's see if you like it. And then they do. And then, you know, that can, you know, help those videos do well. Other things too, just to keep in mind, and I have to show this because this is a really important thing. And this could be working against you. So in this one, you say, you know, why this industrial area is taking so long to build. And let me just make this bigger here. So the title for this is why this industrial area is taking so long to build. And then you have layout update April 2025. The problem with this sort of thing is that it's now August. So since it's August, if this gets recommended to somebody, this is less important just because of the April 2025. It feels dated. Even though you got the upload date and all that stuff attached, when you put it in the thumbnail like that, I've found that people, you know, will click on it less usually because that date's in there. When you take that date out, then it can make a difference in terms of people clicking on the video. So one thing that I would experiment with, and it seems like you're doing this there, you've got one here for June as well. You got the same thing happening here in December. So one thing that I would do is I would just strip that away and just experiment, right? Like use YouTube's A/B testing tool and use the same thumbnail if you want to, but remove that text in order to make it evergreen, essentially. And then I think, you know, the imagery that you're using is fine. I would try putting more emphasis on the train. I'm actually just kind of looking to see what this other channel's doing. So if I switch here, just some things I just want to bring to your attention real quick. So everybody in the chat, So
Say
focus.
ho.
Hey, yep. So if you look right here at the imagery of these top videos right here, and you look at the imagery of the videos down here, we do have some focus on the trains here. There's these other elements that are, trying to bring attention to some of it, but we do have some emphasis on the trains for some of this. But if you look at this channel, they put look how close up everything is, right? So this is a little bit more close up. This is close up. This, not so much. This one is kind of zoomed out a little bit.
I think your browser's jammed.
Oh, no, I didn't switch to this tab. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But basically this right here, you can see how close up this is. This one's not super close up. This one's more in alignment with what you do. But this one's pretty close up. This one's pretty close up. This one's really close up. This one's really close up. And it's almost like when they were taking the photos, they're thinking about the thumbnail, right? Like, okay, I'm taking this shot for the thumbnail, because you can see here just how things are framed and all of that. Like, these are just really well done when it comes to the imagery on these. So because of that, I would also consider that when it comes to, just one of the differences that I could see when I'm comparing these, back to back. Just one of the differences that I could see, like, right out of the gate, right? You do have an up close one here, so that's good. But like here, right, you have AliExpress as the focus. You have Chinese on the screen. Like if I make this one bigger, right? So this is another one where I would do the A/B test. So right here, you have AliExpress, and I know it's about AliExpress model railroad haul and cheap trains, lights, and scenery. But you have AliExpress, and then you have the Chinese on here, which right out of the gate is gonna make some people not respond to it, because they're gonna default into thinking that this isn't in English, right? So this might be in Chinese, I don't know, but because everything I'm seeing is in English, I don't think so. But I would A/B test this one too. And I would remove all of this, and I would actually focus on a close-up shot of, one of the things, or an overhead shot of all these items, or something else, just kind of model train related. Because right now your total focus on this particular thumbnail is AliExpress and, the Chinese text, and then you have to kind of look around in order to see this stuff. And the whole idea when it comes to YouTube thumbnails is the whole at a glance thing, right? So because of that, I would definitely look at that. And I see you have 43,000 views on this, but I would still test it, right? Because I think that this right here, because of this, and I know it did well, but because of this right here, I do think that you are limiting yourself there. So I would just test it. I could be wrong, but I would test it and just see if you get a different response.
You were showing the other one again.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. There we go. Yeah, so here, this is the one I was talking about, right? So you can see there how it's all focused on that. So it did well, which is great. So topically, you're good, and people did respond to it, but I would make that adjustment there to see. And then on these, I would strip that date off of there, focus more on the up-close imagery. Same thing here with this one, take that date off of there, and just, A/B test it. So you don't have to completely remove this thumbnail, just load a variable and just see, right? Hey, are people going to respond to this differently if I make that change?
I just missed a question here. Diane Dobson asked about streaming vertically and horizontally at the same time if you need two cameras. No, but you need software that will allow you to do both if you don't have two cameras. You
do need to make sure everything's framed right, though.
Right.
I mean, it depends on your setup, really.
Right. That's what I mean. If you need software, like you can do it in OBS, you can do it in Meld. I think you can do it in StreamYard now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
set up two instances of StreamYard. Yeah,
right.
So you can have one going out landscape and one going out vertical.
Right. So technically, no. You can do it with one.
Yeah.
You just need software or a service that can do it.
Yeah.
Set it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so you say that A/B testing is not really useful unless you get at least 3,000 browse suggested views. It is actually. So what you're looking for is impressions, like the amount of views. You need impressions so that you can see how many of those impressions turn into views, and you can actually get some good information for like 1,000 views on a video. You can get good information on the thumbnails, of course, or not 1,000 views, but 1,000 impressions. But when it comes to views, you're looking for impressions so that you can see how many of those convert into views. So next up, we got Eat Like an Apex. Hey, what's going on? It's been a while. Hope you're doing great. They upload one time per week or more. They do travel for food vlogs. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time creator. And the question is just channel feedback. Okay, so let's see what you're doing. So with this, and I should just make that clear in the thing. But yeah, for the channel feedback, like we want to look at, we want to be kind of guided on what you're trying to figure out instead of just on like the whole entire channel.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll do
take a
thumbnails.
glance. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do thumbnails and see what's going on there.
Have a peek at those thumbnails.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay, Bite Life, Christian L, Eat Like an Apex. My name is Christian Food Vlogger. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think these are okay. I would definitely A/B test with and without the arrows just to see if it matters or not. I would also, like, if you look at, this thumbnail, and then if you take this down for a second, D.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Removed.
Okay. And then I'm going to go find another one here.
I would also test focusing on the food. Right, because now that YouTube allows us to ABC test for thumbnails, I would test the ones that you have. I would test one with holding that food, but just the focus is on the food without your face in it, just to see if any one of those layouts perform differently. Do you have another one?
Man, this is what I don't like about YouTube Shorts.
What's that?
So I mean, viewers prefer this, obviously, but like I just came here and I've got one video right up here at the top that's like a long form video that I'm like trying to get a sample of.
Right.
But it looks like it's from a pretty big channel. So I'm looking for something that's more regular.
Okay.
But basically, like as I scroll down, I'm like multiple scrolls here like I'm still like just scrolling. Shorts. Yeah.
Man, it's the race to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's working out for them, right? They can say that they've got, a billion views or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, let's see here. So if I click into here, give me a second. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go find this. This video here.
I saw your short scroll. It just went on and on
Yeah,
and on and on and on and on and on.
Let's see here. I'll go to popular because this video had 1 million views on it.
Renee should have wished for his birthday wish with YouTube to reduce the amount of shorts that show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this channel's got like 4 million views on it, but I'll still show it just to kind of compare it. But I'm still looking for that one because like a lot of these videos have tons of views on them. But I mean, this is important that they should see this too. But give me 1 second. They're probably already aware of this channel.
Diane Hobson says, I have an assistant Skeeter, which is Chat GPT. Teach me later. I named my Chat GPT Flaming Dragon. That's the name of
What's
my
the story behind Flaming Dragon?
It's
I know, but for everybody else.
It's from the movie Tropic Thunder. And I gave it like custom responses. So when I ask certain things, it will reply with movie quotes. It's pretty funny.
Man, I'm having a heck of a time.
Yeah.
Finding this thumbnail on the channel page here.
Can't find it?
Just because this person has so many like million view videos. Hold on. Where is the same one that I found in search?
Do you want me to pull it up right now?
Oh,
Hello,
man.
Valor Realm. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so then we're going to go back to the other channel.
Okay, dudes, I'm out. David, have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. Adding it back up.
Okay, so this video that I'm comparing you against has 1 million views on it, and keep in mind that the title makes a difference, the timing they uploaded this makes a difference, everything about it.
I like the flag.
But a couple of things I want to bring to your attention is this particular thing, and I know your whole thing is about like Filipino food, is what it looks like at a glance. So you can see just a big difference here in terms of, just how they're focusing on the food. So they have the shot, like, and you're doing the same thing, right? You're focusing on the food, but it's not like full and kind of juicy like this other one. And this can be okay too, but I'm just trying to show you the difference here because this channel's got like 4.3 million subscribers on it, so they've got it, kind of figured out. But like here you can see we've got all of this food that was kind of photoshopped into this shot. You've got, the food that was over here photoshopped into the shot. You've got them and their street scene back here, kind of like about the same size that you are.
It's a great thumbnail.
It is.
Yeah.
And then you have here where you've got, the Filipino flag in there to help people identify that it is Filipino food. And there's just like a little bit more information here in comparison to this that, is a focus on the food. So you're doing that part right.
And can I say this?
Yeah.
I'm not a foodie, and this doesn't appeal to me. But I see this thumbnail, and it ticks that box for me of instant curiosity. Yeah. Right? What in the world is he eating, and is he going to eat all of that? And I'm not even into food, but like I might click on that, and I'm not even in food.
Yeah.
just that's why they've got millions of views on their
Yeah.
on their videos,
Right.
right? It's appealing to an audience. Like I would click on it,
Yeah.
and I'm not even into that stuff.
Yeah, but the idea though is that sort of thing. It just helps people recognize at a glance that it's about food. I mean, you're doing that okay too. Like I'm not saying that what you're doing is like horrible, and you are following best practices there. Like, hey, let me bring attention to this food, and you're using the arrow for that. But I just think that you could do it better in terms of making this better, just spending basically more time on this,
Better or bigger, crop it out and make it like stupidly big.
Yep. And, that sort of thing to just kind of help bring attention to the food. Because, if you're looking around for food content, then, making it just crystal clear at a glance, like, hey, this is food. And then here you have like insane hidden gem food on Facebook, which is fine. But if you are doing the Filipino food, which again, I'm pretty sure, and I'll confirm that here in a second, but you can see here, they're like, the foods in the Philippines, best cheap eats from, Manila to Davao. So basically what they're doing here is they have, food in here, Philippines in here,
Manila,
food with Manila, food with, Davao, cheap, Manila. Like they've got all of these, words in here.
There's stuff in it, but it works.
Yeah, they have all these words in here that are helping people identify that, that's what it is. And I'm seeing right up here that you have Filipino hidden gem hunter, right? So that's where I'm pulling the Filipino thing from. But step one is I would definitely get the flag in here somewhere. With everything that you are publishing. And then in addition to that, when it comes to the food, I would do some tests, man. So one thing that I would do is I would test, the default thumbnail that you have right here that you've been using this style. And then I'd be like, okay, let me break out some Photoshop. If you don't want to pay for Photoshop, it's fine. You can go to a service like Photopea. It's a web-based Photoshop that you can use if you want to get into like hot, like detailed, thumbnails. You can also use a free version of Tube Spanner to make some thumbnails. You can also use a free version of Canva to make some thumbnails too, but those come with limits. But when it comes to thumbnails, I would definitely go in and just do a lot of experimentation there and do a lot of focus on the food and then make sure the flag is added there too. But I would look at that channel that I pulled up and really try to just analyze everything it is that they're doing around the food, because what they're doing is working. I would watch their videos, look at how they're putting it all together, how they're starting the videos and every single part of what it is that they're doing to see if that structure is something that you might be able to follow. But I would definitely do all of those things to try to better this a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're bad. I just think they could be better.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is, going for that like level up. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're effective. Like you got some, this one's got like 27,000 views on it, right? So, you're definitely getting some views on these. Another thing too is, if you are, making content that is, mostly like Filipino food, which it looks like you found a Chinese spot here too. Like even with that, putting like a Filipino flag and a Chinese flag, right? A Chinese flag for Chinese food and like a Filipino flag for Filipino food, those types of things. Like all of that is stuff that I would be experimenting with on this just to see what people respond to when it comes to that.
Yeah. Perspective.
Any additional thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would work with perspective more too. Like you've got the dishes, make them bigger, further away when you take the pictures, so it might give the illusion that it's a lot bigger. Get more food in the picture, even if it's food that you're not necessarily going to eat or eat it.
Supportive food, we'll call it.
Food support. Yeah, supportive food.
Yep. Sarah Dawn's
Walk-on
Designs.
Characters. Yeah, background characters. Yeah.
Sarah Dawn's Design says if you want a Photoshop equivalent that's completely free, they suggest GIMP also, which is an option. So next up here, we got...
Okay,
go ahead.
Really quick. I don't know who your audience is.
You don't even have to be quick. You can just say it, D.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know who your audience is. I don't know if you're appealing to Filipinos. I don't know if you're appealing to a broad audience, Western. I don't know who's watching your content. But as someone who doesn't watch food content, but would have clicked on that other thumbnail that Nick put up, one of the things about that thumbnail that I found to be intriguing, not only was there a ton of food there, and I'm wondering, first of all, what in the world is he eating? And is he going to eat all that food? The fact that he put that nighttime scene behind him, right? It's street food. Like that background scene just added so much. Yeah. So when you're doing things outside, because I see a lot of times you're like on a street, like on an empty street. that doesn't really say anything to me. Like if you're going to use something as a background,
Make it interesting.
make it interesting.
Yeah, and you can do that.
Make
and
it
this
interesting.
This is where like Photoshop and Photopea and like all these things come into play also is, like while you're out, you can take photos of some of these places, just put them in the background. Same thing with like your shots where you're in your place. You can put a kitchen in the background, right?
Yeah.
You can just cut yourself out, put a kitchen in the background, and then put some food around there, smack a Filipino flag on there, or whatever the dish is. Those types of things can just kind of help your thumbnails get more attention.
I don't know if is he in the Philippines?
I closed it already,
Okay.
but they do Philippine stuff. Yeah.
Okay, if you're not in the Philippines, the next time you go to the Philippines, get a ton of pictures of you outside at nighttime, in the daytime, around the food stalls and the food markets, holding generic things, because you can always Photoshop out the different thing, just to to capture that feeling of being there.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just food. Because what I'm getting from your food, it's just food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's Filipino food, but like if you're trying to capture the whole Filipino food, put me in the Philippines.
Yep.
Bring me there. Put me there before I even click on the video. So my mind is like, well, yeah, we're in the Philippines. We're gonna eat some balut or whatever god awful stuff they're gonna have on the street cart that I would never eat in a million years, even if I were starving.
A million
Years.
years.
Some of us.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of us don't. Some of us are immortal.
Okay. All right.
Just interview with a vampire.
All right.
Make it happen.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
put me there.
Yeah,
Put me there.
Jerry says he's in the foodie minority. He dislikes content with thumbnails like that.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm not your target audience, but I would have watched that other video.
Yeah, I would try to follow suit with like what the channels that are thriving are doing.
Yeah.
Because that dude, he had like the one that I pulled that sample thumbnail from. It took me like a bunch of scrolls to get past videos that had 1 million views on them.
Wow.
Like he's got tons and tons of views on that channel.
Success leaves clues.
So next up, we've got Sun and Stars SNS. The upload schedule is when they have time. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. It's a mixed channel. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time creator. And they say, how do I get ideas to make the best videos? So when it comes to YouTube, the very first thing is you want to just think about, one, what it is that you like to make. Two, the people that you're trying to reach with your content, because ultimately what you want to try to do, if you're wanting, because you mentioned that you're wanting to be a full-time YouTuber, which means you're going to have to make some very important decisions. So when you are trying to do that, you need to remember that you're making content for a particular type of viewer, and you need to make sure that everything that you're publishing is in alignment with that particular type of viewer and what it is that they care about. So you want to make sure that that aligns with what it is that you care about and you like to make, but you have to remember that you're making it for other people. So once you know that, and you're like, okay, I'm making content for other people, then the next thing to do is you start going into communities where those people are hanging out and trying to figure out like what those people care about. And a lot of that, if you're making content about something that you care about, a lot of that can come intuitively also. So if you care about things so much that you want to make content about it, there's a really good chance that you already understand, a lot of the underlying things that goes into that content that people respond to, the things they care about. So then you make content about those particular things. And then you can also use tools like, for example, you can use YouTube's autocomplete, to where you go up to the search bar and you start typing in around, the type of content that you've chosen to make. And then from there, it's going to autocomplete and show you things that people are actually looking for around that type of content. And then you can make content, about those things. So when it comes to video ideas, you have that. You can, if somebody asks you a question in your comments, you can make content about that. But the whole idea is to, just get clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with the content, and then try to make content for them. And I have your channel pulled up here, and it looks like I'm not really sure what it is that you are.
Hey, Kyle.
What it is that you're doing here. So you have like a 3D isometric bedroom.
Hey, Mooney. And
then you follow that up with 2 anime characters, it looks like, kissing each other. So, like I think that the very first step for you is figuring out like, okay, what is it that I want to offer to my viewers on this YouTube channel? Because one thing that I can tell you is if you're trying to be a full-time content creator, it's likely that if you do a mixed channel, which is the type of channel that you said that you have, it's likely that approach is going to make your journey a lot more difficult than it needs to be. right? If you're trying to be a full-time creator, which is what you mentioned here. So because of that, I'd figure out what you're trying to do with the channel, what you're trying to accomplish, in terms of, think of it this way. If everything went perfectly on your YouTube channel over the next 365 days, and you had to focus on a particular type of content for a particular type of person, like what content would that be for you? What would the videos look like? What would your publishing schedule look like? How involved would you be with everything? And just kind of use that as just a rough guide to get you started in terms of, things to think about when it comes to the direction that you want to go in. Next up, we got Haunted Creations. They have been on YouTube for a year or more. They have a Halloween channel. That's cool.
Oh, interesting.
And says, should we do any YouTube promotions on videos to help grow our channel? We're trying to get to 1,000 subs before Halloween. No. So when it comes to YouTube promotions is best for people that have something to sell because they get an actual return on that investment sometimes. Sometimes they don't, so they take a loss. But basically, when you pay for YouTube promotions, there's a couple of problems that happen. The very first problem is that you are trying to shortcut the process of growing your channel. And the result of that is if you haven't learned how to get an organic response yet, in terms of you haven't been able, you're not good yet at getting people, coming up with video ideas that people care about, packaging those through the thumbnail and title to grab somebody's attention and then compel them to click based on whatever it is that you have in the thumbnail and title package there, and then get them into the video and create a good experience for them so that YouTube detects all of those things happening and says, wow, people are really enjoying this. So let's find other people on the platform to show this to. If you haven't done that part yet, then what happens is you end up in a situation to where as soon as you turn off your ad spend and you stop paying for promotions, everything stops. And what makes that even worse is when that stops, you continue to publish videos. And if people are not responding to those videos, YouTube's going to show it to anybody that did happen to engage. But then if those people are not responding to the videos that you publish and you keep publishing videos and they keep not responding, then YouTube's going to detect it and say, these people are just not interested in this. So then they're going to stop recommending your videos to those people too. So then basically you get to spend all of this money for nothing in return, outside of maybe some vanity numbers in terms of hey, I got, some extra subscribers from this or whatever the thing is. So because of that, I recommend to everybody that you don't use YouTube promotions unless you have something to sell. And even with that, unless you know how to get an organic response on YouTube. In addition to that, don't participate in any type of sub for sub activity or any type of other clever way to try to get people to watch your videos that are not actually interested in your videos. So that means any type of sub for sub things. There's all kinds of crazy stuff people do on Reddit to try to get views and things like that. Don't mess with any of those things. Learn how to get content, or learn how to make content in a way that people enjoy it on YouTube. And then when you do that, all of the other stuff is just going to become irrelevant, because then people are going to be responding to your videos. And when people are responding to your videos, YouTube does all of the work for you. And then from there, your audience will do some of the work in terms of sharing you to other platforms. And when people are, wanting to know things, they'll share your content and stuff like that. So focus all of your efforts, not on YouTube promotions, but on how do we make the best Halloween content on YouTube. And focus everything on that. And then once you learn how to do that, then you don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. Stanley Orchard, what's up, dude?
That was great advice. No shortcuts.
No shortcuts. Yep.
Make the best content you can make.
Yep. Mark is the next channel here. They upload one time per week or more. They do outdoorsman related content with a lot of canoeing. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who I like, and they say how to add a pinned comment prior to publishing a video or still in queue. So all you have to do is you upload a video as unlisted, and when you upload that video as unlisted, then you can just open that video up on YouTube, and then you can go in there and you can add whatever comment it is that you are going to add, recommending another video or playlist or something, and then you click the three-dot menu over on the right-hand side, and then you pin the comment.
But be warned. When you're unlisted, if you put your video on a playlist, it will go into that playlist live.
Yes, yeah.
So if you select a playlist and you hit unlisted, it will go live in that playlist.
Yep.
So make sure that no playlists are actually selected if you're not ready to publish it.
Yep. Yeah, and really quick, so Ad Lasses, but I'm not a hot blonde pretty lady. Now what? I'm a 44-year-old dude. So that doesn't mean anything. So, being attractive does have its advantages when it comes to YouTube. However, like it's not a, requirement. And when it comes to, using that
Bro,
as a defense.
Dude, look at this.
Yeah, right.
Look at this.
Yep. Using that as a, you look great, D.
Yeah.
But using that as a defense in terms of like, well, I'm not getting results because I'm, not a pretty blonde lady.
Yeah.
That's, and that might not be, I might be completely out of context here. That might not have been, what you were actually saying, but that's what it, seems like just from what I'm seeing right here. But like, I'm looking at your channel right now, and that by itself is not the problem. Like, you got a bunch of other stuff going on here that needs to be addressed.
Your age doesn't matter. Your gender.
There's literally 100-year-olds on YouTube that have followings.
Yeah. I mean, don't call it what it is. There are some people who do have an advantage, but it's not going to stop you from succeeding. It's not going to stop people,
and it doesn't guarantee success.
And
either.
it doesn't. Yeah, dude, I've seen some smoking hot people, men and women, failing spectacularly on social media because they're
leaning on that.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have anything.
That's all they got.
They don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Good content is good content regardless of who made it.
Yep. Yeah, that kind of stuff, in my opinion, like, those types of things. And I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just trying to kind of change your perspective.
Authenticity. That's right, Renee.
Yep. But when it comes to, that sort of thing, the way that I look at that, and I would encourage you to just to kind of think about it, is anytime I come up with a reason like that in terms of why someone else is doing something and I'm not, what I'm doing is I'm excusing myself from trying to get better at what it is that I'm doing so that I can get the end result that I'm trying to achieve. Right.
Right.
So yeah, try to get that stuff out of your mind if you can.
Yeah. People want authenticity.
Yep.
I mean, Steve Buscemi, the actor, the Hollywood actor, fantastic actor. Dude fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. But he is a unbelievable actor.
What a great phrasing that is.
Nobody says
fell out of the tree and hit every branch on the way down.
The ugly
That's
tree.
Great.
But nobody says, "Oh, I'm not going to go watch whatever movie Steve Buscemi's in because, he's not like an attractive dude."
So really quick, roll call here. If you are over 40, just say me in the chat, just for some perspective here, because they mentioned here that they're a 44-year-old dude. So if you're over 40 and you are here, just say me, just for the perspective here, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
And I am too, so I'm just going to go ahead and participate.
Me.
Yeah, so you can see here, right? And some of these channels that are popping up are like successful channels.
Yeah.
All right, look at all this. Yep.
I'm 53.
Yep. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. 55 in here. Day one walks. There you go.
Nice.
55er.
Yep.
Beanie.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone in here except for Sun and Stars.
Well, everybody said something, right? Yeah. So next up on the list here, we've got
Age ain't nothing but a number.
That's right. Model Rockets 321 is the name of the channel here. They upload one time per week or more. They do hobby for Rocketeers. They say, hey guys, can you give me some advice on my channel? If you look at my channel, do you think that my thumbnails are okay? How about my titles? Just trying to get your input as YouTube is your expertise. Let's go ahead and pull up your channel here and see what's going on.
Rob
Sounds
Gleason.
like this is going to be a cool channel.
Rob Gleason says, I haven't published in years. Start publishing. Make a new channel.
Yeah, if that's what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, get to publishing again.
Yep. As Renee would say, get to contenting.
Get to
contenting.
Get to contenting.
Mm-hmm.
Get on it.
Yep. Ad Last says, what would the diabolical offspring of Steve Buscemi and Tony Soprano look like?
Oh my goodness.
So Model Rockets. So let's go ahead and get Model Rockets pulled up here. Give me 1 second. And we're going to go with Chrome tab, not that one. We'll go with this one.
59.
Okay,
we have a lot of Gen Xers in here.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. So Model Rockets 321. So you just wanted feedback on your thumbnails and titles.
What a cool niche.
It is. Super cool. Okay, so couple things. So the very first thing I want to bring to your attention is if your channel's about model rockets, I would definitely make sure, and you're doing this on some of these, but I would make sure that, you know, everything is focused on it. Because here you have Max Q Falcon Heavy addressing a commenter model rocks. So I would also, even in this type of thing, make sure that you are putting the rockets in there, because what you do when you are doing that,
clearly putting rockets in there.
yeah, because what you do when you are focusing on the rockets is you're just making it easy for people that are into rockets quickly identify that your content has something to do with something that they care about, right? So because of that, you know, like in situations like this, I think this one's, you know, probably okay, but it looks like you're leaning a lot on the text, which is also pretty clear. So, you know, I think you're okay there. But, you know, even with this one, I would focus in on like really hard on the rocket itself. With this one too, right? Like the focus is more on this squiggle than it is on the rocket. Like what you want to do is you want to, when you're making a thumbnail, right? You want to isolate it.
Oh. What are you doing there? Are they testing it or something?
No, I think it might be a small, because this defaults to the HQ.
Oh, they're pulling it. They're loading up small.
Yeah, they're loading small thumbnails.
Try to load a higher quality thumbnail if you can.
But anyway, what I was going to say
yeah.
is you isolate it, and then once it's isolated, then from there you just close your eyes and you open your eyes. You're like, what draws my attention first? And then by doing that, it just kind of helps you just get a, you know, quick view of like, okay, where, if this just shows up on somebody's home feed where they're looking around, what part of my thumbnail, right, might grab their attention. And then by doing that, it helps you make sure that you're focusing on the right things, because here, you know, this squiggle, you know, is the focus, where the rocket itself should be the focus. So I would definitely, you know, when it comes to your thumbnails, do that. And even in situations like this, right, and this is like a nerdy thing, but it matters. So here you have the Mighty Saturn, you know, 1B hurdle, I think is what that says. And here you also have this squiggle in here, which looks like it might be part of your branding, but those, like this squiggle and the lightness of the photo kind of takes away from this rocket. So, you know, just adding a little bit of contrast here, maybe bringing the exposure down just a smidge, and then adding a little bit of contrast there to just kind of help that rocket stand out a little bit more. That would be the goal, right, when it comes to these, for everything where you're talking about the rockets here. I like that you are working on this like branding side of like, hey, I'm going to use this, you know, squiggle. Stylistically, I don't think it matches the imagery. However, you know, if it's something you want to lean into, that's fine. But I would definitely just make sure that with everything it is that you're doing, that the rockets are the primary focus. I would even use YouTube's A/B testing tool, which you hear me, you know, mention a lot and recommend a lot, because it does give you insight on these things. Like, for example, you know, like on, let's say this one, I would go in and I would say, okay, here is this current thumbnail, and then now I'm going to make a thumbnail where all I'm going to do is make a really good photo of this rocket, and then I'm just going to have just the rocket with nothing else in there, and just see, you know, hey, maybe people are going to respond to it more, and it's going to give the video some life. Keep in mind that when it comes to that, you know, what happens in the video and how people respond once they actually get into the video, all that stuff matters too. But, you know, doing that type of experiment can at least help you, you know, figure out, okay, for rocket folks, like, what is it they respond to most? Is this text distracting them from the thing that they actually care about? Yes or no? And then you start getting some real, you know, data on how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. Yeah, this looks super fun though.
Yeah,
like what you're doing, like it looks fun, it looks interesting. So you know, so what was the exact question? Hold on. So it's just trying to get just trying to get input. Yeah, so I would definitely work on, you know, those sorts of things.
Really cool niche though.
Yeah. I also wouldn't worry about putting the hashtags in your titles. That's not really doing anything for you. So you can add those types of things to your video description, but I wouldn't worry about putting those in your titles. All right, next up.
Yep.
Next up, we got iFun Chris. iFun Chris says there's no question here, so we just put it in here though, and the goal of the channel is to have fun. So thanks for entering the form there, Chris. There was no question, so I'm not sure what to look at there. And then next up, we have Agman Kleiser. Agman Kleiser does daily content. It's gaming content. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, guide me on how to grow my channel. So when it comes to your YouTube channel, here's some things you got to keep in mind. One, you got to make videos about things that people care about. Super important, because if you make videos about things that nobody's really interested in and you can't figure out a way to frame it in a way that people might find interesting, then in that case, you are going to have a difficult time, because the amount of people that are interested in what it is that you're talking about is small. So step number one is try to make content that a large amount of people are interested in, if the goal is to grow the channel, right? Or to grow it, faster than maybe you might be, growing it right now. So that's step number one. Step number two is make thumbnails that will help people identify that the content that you're making is about something that they care about at a glance. When you're making your thumbnails, make sure that you are asking yourself, what is the primary focus of this thumbnail? I actually have a tool. It's pinned at the very top of the chat. It's my app if you have an iPhone or an iPad, that actually helps you with this. It has a thumbnail inspector in it that can give you this feedback. But basically, when you're looking at your thumbnails, you have to ask yourself, one, what is the primary focus of this? Is it identifiable at a glance? Is it identifiable at a glance even at small sizes? Yes or no? Then from there, you want to ask yourself, am I adding anything to this thumbnail that helps add context? Or if anything, is there anything that I'm adding to this thumbnail that is distracting people that isn't relevant, that's distracting people from this thing that I'm trying to bring attention to? And even if it is relevant, is it distracting from this thing I'm trying to bring attention to? From there, you want to think, okay, well, if this thumbnail grabs somebody's attention because of these reasons and you want to define it, then from there, they're probably going to look at the title. So if they're going to look at the title, what exactly about this title is compelling enough for somebody to click on? Or if it's not like super compelling, is it at least clearly informative, right? And then if the answer to, all of those is fine, then the next thing you got to think about is, okay, the process on YouTube is they recommend my content to somebody, somebody clicks on it, and then if I can get that far, then they're going to go into my video. So from there, how do people respond to my video? YouTube shows us this information. So every video on YouTube gets a audience retention report. It's inside of your YouTube analytics. You can find this on desktop computer or from a computer. You can also find this on mobile devices as well inside of the YT Studio app. But basically, what you want to do there is you want to go in to see how people respond to your videos. And then this is the hard part. So once you see how are people responding, then you have to, try to figure out, okay, why do I think they're responding this way? From there, you have to start throwing theory at it. Okay, well, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of this. And then you make all of these different theories and all these different ideas of why you think they might be responding that way. And then you, through additional content, then you start experimenting with all these different ideas that you might have around the things that you think might be causing people to abandon your videos. And then from there, over time, you learn what people respond to, you learn what people don't respond to, and then you do the best that you can to try to make sure that every video that you publish on your channel is a good quality experience that adds some type of value to the people that are interacting with it. And then you rinse and repeat that over and over and over again until you reach whatever results that you're trying to reach with your channel.
There you go,
anything addition to add to that?
No, I think you nailed it.
Right.
But I was going to say, Mr. Ratish, thanks for joining us. I think you articulated that well.
And on that note, I do want to remind you that if you are a new content creator or if you are hitting a wall in terms of like, hey, I'm just having trouble getting this thing going, right now, I do want to remind you that YouTube does come with a learning curve, just like everything else. So, just like playing an instrument or anything else that you're going to do in life, you got to learn how to do that thing. You got to learn the details about that thing. You got to learn, all of the moving parts, so to speak, and you have to practice. So if you are hitting the wall right now, just know that all it means is that right now you're getting the results based on the things that you currently know how to do and know how to identify. And because of that, you need to continually be trying to develop your skills and learn more about YouTube. Not necessarily watching, like how to get more views videos, but like, actively learning, like, okay, how do I edit videos? How do I create an experience for people that they enjoy? How do I really make good thumbnails? How do I write good titles? And you start, exploring all of these ideas. Try to focus on one thing at a time because it makes it manageable and takes away the overwhelm. But, you try to, work on those skill sets so that you can see things easier and so that you can make the right decisions around your content that will ultimately lead to you getting good results on your videos. So hang in there, got this. It can be challenging. It takes some people longer than other people, but just know that if you keep working on the skill sets and you keep, trying to learn how to do it, and you keep practicing by publishing new videos and learning from those videos, that's the way that you end up making it happen. So hang in there. You got this, D.
Yep, great stream. Yep. A little bit of a messy start, but we pulled it together.
Start was a disaster. Complete disaster.
That was great.
In every way, I think. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. So hang in there. You got this. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Remember, if you haven't yet, make sure that you check out the new Creator app. If you have an iPhone, you're going to absolutely love this app.
Yeah, I agree.
I made this
I concur.
He concurs even.
I concur.
And I made this with a bunch of helpful tools for you as a content creator, and I'm adding more stuff to it. So make sure that you do check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, you can find it in the App Store by looking for New Creator, or you can just go to newcreator.app. Or click the link at the top of the chat right now. It's going to take you to the website, and you can click right into the App Store there. If you're watching on a TV, then you can hit my channel page. I've got a QR code that you can scan there, or you can also scan a QR code on the website as well.
The burning question that I know Ed once answered.
Okay.
When is New Creator app coming to Android?
So right now I'm working on the desktop version.
Okay.
And when it comes to the desktop version, I was going to show a preview, but I probably shouldn't show a preview.
I think we should see a preview.
Think so?
I think so.
Okay, give me a
We're not
minute
closing
here.
the stream down yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go on just a little bit further. We're going to push it. We're going to dig deep, and we're going to show a sneak peek of New Creator app coming to desktop.
Yeah, so once the desktop version's done, then the Android version will be going out.
That's right. I'm looking out for you, Ed. Asking the important questions here today. Are we going to show it?
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
So,
does the current one work on an iPad?
Yes, it's awesome on an iPad. So the this New Creator app is the only Creator app of its kind that actually has an iPad version. So everybody else takes the lazy route, and I understand why. It's because the iPad usage just isn't as high as the iPhone or mobile usage. But
you did the work.
But I did the work, yeah. So so basically, when you use the other ones, they just give you like the phone version on an iPad. This actually has like a whole iPad version. So once you install it, and it's iCloud synced as well. So when you add like your video ideas and stuff like that on your iPhone, then when you go into your iPad, everything's automatically synced up and all that. And if you have other creators in your family, then they will automatically get it if they're on your family plan also, which is pretty cool.
So Ed, to answer your question, this is a browser-based desktop version. So you'll be able to use it. You just open up your browser, Chrome or something like that, and you're going to have access to it.
Yep.
So it'll work across the board.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is still in its infancy, still working on like a lot of stuff with this, but basically the dashboards are going to completely change. But you got your high priority ideas down here. You've got your content planner out in here to where you can schedule different types of videos. So in this case, I'm just going to put a bunch of gobbledygook in here just so you can kind of see what's going on.
That would probably go viral.
And we're going to put it down to here, but you can also check the status of this, so you can just make sure that you're keeping things in order and all of that. You can put target keywords, all this stuff. It just helps you think about all of these things when it comes to videos, like what playlist am I going to put this in? Am I targeting keywords? Yes or no? What type of idea do I have for the thumbnail? That kind of stuff. And then you schedule it, and then it's going to pop up here in the calendar. You got a weekly, monthly, and daily view, which is cool. And then you have the Video Idea Explorer. So in this particular case, if I just put CapCut, then you'll see here it's breaking it down into all of these different categories. And the mobile app already does all of this, by the way. But this is the desktop version where I'm also adding this stuff. But basically, it breaks these down. And I'm still fine-tuning this, but you can see here how it breaks it down into these different categories based on like how people are looking for these things. And because it is a YouTube tool, it's also breaking it down when people are looking into like tutorials, guides, equipment tools, that kind of stuff. And then you have your content ID log to where you can add video ideas. And again, I'm going to put gobbledygook. But then you can put what content type it is. You can put a priority to it, if it's a priority or not. And then this way, when it comes time to make your content, you can be like, okay, hey, where are all my videos? Where are all my short ideas? Where are my live stream ideas or podcast ideas or post ideas? And then it'll just sort by those, which is pretty cool. And then Thumbnail Inspector, I'm still working on. The Title Workshop, I'm still working on as well. But both of those are functional in the actual iPhone app.
The app is fully functional.
Yeah. And then I'm also going to add some easy analytics and stuff like that in here as well. But the step one is getting everything to match the app, and then from there, we'll keep on going. But that's it. So far, a little sneak peek for anybody that cares.
There you go.
Yep. But again, you can try out the mobile version of this for iPads. You can try that out by going to newcreator.app and checking it out for yourself. And I'm making this the best app for content creators. So if you have any feedback at all, definitely let me know on how I can make it better for you also. I'm all ears when it comes to, trying to make it better. Because, if I don't make it as good as I can, then you're not going to want to use it. So, I want you to use it. So let me know how I can make it better for you, if you put it in.
Find it could be better if you put my face in there somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe I should. I should.
All right. Listen, have a great week. We'll see you next weekend.
Yep. Have a great have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
Hit the sub button, hit the like button. If you're having fun, comment, type something. If you're laying back, leaning and engaged, just take a second to smash the whole page.